This is where we spark change, ignite hope, and empower you to take control. It's time to rewrite the script. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Rewriting the Script, where we encourage you to rewrite your story. I'm your host, Sasha, and today I have a guest with me.
Hi, my name is Micah Mir, self-love and empowerment coach, and today's episode is going to be about the beginning of the end. I'm going to go ahead and dive in and ask you what led to your divorce.
So, pretty much, long story short, infidelity. Um, it wasn't infidelity on my end. I didn't lost. I also didn't want the divorce. Pretty much, I found out. Like I had a woman's intuition, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and then I finally just set him down and asked, and of course, it was a no. It was like no, no. It was like me. I had to pull teeth or whatever.
Right, to get into
And
something.
then, pretty much instead of it was like he didn't want to admit like infidelity. It was just I don't want to be married anymore. That's what I got.
Oh, wow.
Whatever. And it was just like, okay, I was trying to start, I was asking questions, trying to figure out why, but it was like he kind of didn't want to explain it, like he didn't
Right,
want
he
to
felt
really
checked out.
say what he didn't really want to say, but what I'm saying, it was clear as day. And so, that's
Oh, wow. Do you
I
feel
really
like,
don't know deep down like on his behalf, which is not my I know like when another person does infidelity, it's not, I know it don't have nothing to do with me,
yeah,
but I still like to this day don't know like when he checked out or what made him do it. Like, I don't know his reasons behind it.
yeah.
So
No, that's definitely, yeah, because it's definitely not your fault for one. But I wanted to ask, did you feel like you noticed any signs of him like checking out, or was there something that he used to do all the time? Like, I don't know, like pack a lunch or just something that he would do that he stopped doing completely that kind of made you like, okay, he's checked out of this.
no, his
Any
routine
signs?
changed a little bit.
Okay.
His
How so?
routine changed a little bit. So like that was some signs was like the routine started switching up. When you know your person, and they start doing things differently, you start looking sideways like, all right, you never used to do this, now you're doing this. So it was like his routine changed a little bit. I mean a little bit. And then like not to go too deep, but I found out and I found out through the watch.
Oh, wow. Through the Apple Watch?
Yeah.
Your watch was synced to his phone,
No.
or
He had
how?
his
I'm sorry.
he had his watch on one day and he was asleep.
Oh,
And
wow.
Apple, like when they first brought out the watches,
You don't need to
they used
FaceTime
to
me?
be able to test your pulse. So it used to be like the phone would just unlock because it would, I don't know how, but it would just unlock when it was on it had to be on your wrist though.
Mhm.
And it would just unlock.
Oh, wow.
And
What
one
series
day,
is this? What
it,
series of watch?
this, I don't think
Oh,
it do it no
wow.
more
Oh,
because I
wow.
think they caught on, but it don't do it no more. But he was asleep one day and I, did like that. And girl, I went right into the messages and he ain't feel me, girl. That's how,
Oh,
that was my
wow.
clarification though, right
That
there.
was okay. So that's
Yeah.
kind of, you're like, okay, yeah, I had
Yeah.
to see
And
that.
then like when I first found out too, I didn't directly like say something right then because I was trying to like, get all my little what I needed before I, confronted the situation.
Right,
But
all the evidence, everything. That way you could present it to them. Because a lot of times I feel like people they try to lie
yeah.
and stuff when you don't have
But even
proof.
with the evidence, it was
Yeah,
like, no, what I'm saying? It was still denial of the situation. So, it
right.
was
So, what moment, I guess, did you feel like divorce was the right decision? Because originally you said he was the one that wanted it
mhm.
after he had, been unfaithful and you still wanted to keep going. What, moment did you realize, like, yeah, I need to go ahead and get this
So it
divorce?
wasn't actually until like, because once again, I didn't want the divorce. Even though like I found out everything I found out, I still wanted to try to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
So he was stand still on he wanted it or whatever. And at that
Mm-hmm.
time I was just so my mindset where my mindset was, it was like that's all I knew. It was like fear. Oh my God, like, this the only person I've been with, like shoot. now I got 2 kids,
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, shoot, I wanna try to fix it. That was my mindset then in that moment, you know what I'm
right.
saying? So, me being open and honest and transparent about the situation, him going through with divorce is the only reason why we divorced.
Oh, wow, okay.
So, if he woulda never, like, went through with it, I woulda stayed.
And you think you would have tried to fix
I woulda
what's
tried to
happening,
fix
or
it,
do you feel
but
like your old self, would you have kinda, like, ignored it and went past it, or
yeah, my old self, it woulda just got swept under the rug.
and you would've continued?
It woulda just continued.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So looking back, on, like, the whole situation, the infidelity, everything, was there any red flags that you just ignored just to keep the relationship going? Like, besides, finding out the messages and stuff like that, was there anything else that he was doing that was suspicious? Or
Um,
even not even just with the infidelity, just in general about your relationships, any red flags that made you think, like, "This is not gonna work?"
no. Like, I don't wanna it was a lot of red flags, but at the time where my mind was, it was just like, you know what I'm saying, I just kinda dealt with it because it was like I said, that's all I knew. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? That's I just wanted my marriage. I didn't wanna be divorced. You know, at the time, I just knew, like, in my mind, it was like, divorce is bad.
right,
Divorce is you shouldn't get a divorce. God hates divorce. You know, that's just what was in my mind at the time because
right.
that in I feel like that we learn I don't wanna say this is what the church teaches, but I feel like they just make it, like, to where, like, you put it in your mind, like, you're supposed to stick it out through
Yeah,
anything. You get what I'm saying? Like,
mhm, yeah.
but anything don't mean anything. You get what
Exactly.
I'm saying?
Sometimes it's
Like,
healthier to leave, and a lot of
yeah.
people.
Like God don't want you to never sit if it's something that is never gonna change and also a person is not it has to be some change.
Right,
So if you're sitting in something and nobody's making the progress to change or doing what they need to do to change and it's an unhealthy relationship and it's something that keep hurting you, I don't feel like God wants you to sit. I believe that He don't want you to sit in something that's unhealthy. You get what
exactly.
I'm saying? So
Yeah,
I just feel like that's what was in my mind at the time was like, well, you're supposed to stick it out. You know, you're supposed to also too, you know what I'm saying? My self-worth, my value. I didn't know my value at the time.
right,
So that had a lot to do with it. Is my worth and my self-value
right.
at that time in my life.
Oh, wow. So I got for the whole process, like, finding out everything, actually getting the divorce, signing the papers, how did that process go for you? Was it quick?
No,
Did
it actually took us a whole year.
Oh,
But,
wow.
you know, during that time, it took us a whole year because that was kinda on us, like, because we didn't have like, when we did our at the time, we neither one of us had lawyers. It was kinda like we knew what we wanted, we had already discussed what we wanted,
Right.
and then what was taking so long was because we needed everything to be written down. It was like we kinda really didn't know how to do that.
Mhm.
So, I ended up getting me a lawyer, and my lawyer once I had got one, she was like my lawyer was trying to stand on business, like, she wanted me to try to take the man for stuff he ain't have. Like, she wanted me to,
That's a
like
good
she,
lawyer.
like, and it was just
That's a
like
great lawyer.
yeah, like, she was like at the time, like, she was like, you know, you oh, we gonna get you this, you gonna do this." And in that time, like oh, Lord, okay. In that time, like, I was at that time where I need tissue. I just wanted it to be over. Like, I just wanted the divorce to be
Be
over,
done.
you know?
Right.
So I'm like, no, you know, I didn't want to do all that. I'm like, I just want the paper signed and I want to
Yeah.
be disconnected from this person. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sometimes it's easier that way not to wanna deal with that and have to relive something. Like, I
Yeah.
don't know, like,
It
that's
was just like, yeah, thank you. I just wanted it to be done and over with. So I was just like, no, I don't want to do all that. The only thing I did ask for was like I don't wanna go into that deep though. It
You don't
was
have
only
to.
one specific thing that I really wanted that I asked for, and I did get it,
Okay, that's
but,
cool.
um, other than that, I didn't want, like, spousal support. I didn't want none of that. I just wanted to be disconnected from this person, so
Right.
that was it.
Okay. What were some of the hardest parts emotionally for you during the divorce process?
Ooh, child. Um, I think it was learning, like, this is it, like, the acceptance part.
Mhm.
Um, Repeat that question again, cause my
Yes,
mind just
ma'am.
went blank.
Yeah, no. What were some of the hardest parts of the divorce process for you emotionally?
So it was like detaching, like learning I'm about to be a a single mom, um, going from a two income household to a one income household, uh, going from my kids, you know, understanding that you're not gonna see a parent every day,
Right.
going through that process. Um, and the most one though is the detachment part, detaching from this life that I was so used to
Right.
and being accustomed to, and learning to pretty much live as a single woman, a single mom, a single person, adjusting to that part.
Do you still feel like you are like still learning to detach? Do you feel like you're in a better place than you were like a year ago as far as detaching?
Oh yeah, I'm in a way better place. I can say though, like, um, it hits me sometimes a lot. I mean, I don't say a lot. It hits me sometimes still.
Mhm.
It's way less than what it used to be.
Right.
But yes, I'm still coping with it. I'm still coping with the divorce. But I've came a long way. And I want to say grieving. I still grieve it sometimes. It's not
Right.
all the time, but I have my moments like where I'll see families, it's mostly the family part.
Right.
Like, do I grieve him? No. But like the family dynamic part of it, I grieve that part. Being a wife, the kids, the dad, one
Yeah.
household, doing family things. Like that's what I grieve. Is my kids having a two household parent, you know.
Yeah. Do you think, or I guess how's your relationship with his family? Do you still keep in contact with his
So
family
no.
or
Some of them.
some of them you do?
For the most part, it's not a bad relationship. I normally I'm really close with. That's because that's my sister, Carly. I love you if you watch this. But mostly like his brother's wife. Like
Okay.
we've remained really close. Like we have a really good relationship. I was in her wedding
Oh,
in
wow.
October.
Oh, wow. That's lovely.
Yeah, her, I'll speak like, there's no animosity or no problems, like no
Right.
beef or nothing. Do I go around? No. If I have to, like if I have to drop my kids off, or like my kids go over there, but like do I go like around functions outside of my kids having to be there? And normally like when my kids go to things, they'll be with their grandmother. So it's no issues. It's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's definitely healthy. And then you kinda already talked about how, this whole change kinda affects everything. How do you feel like your day to day is, I guess, emotionally?
Let me tell you. It be a lot. Like being going from it's a lot. Like I have a great support system. Um my mom and his mom, great dope support system. That's why I
That's
could say
amazing.
God has really blessed me with a
That is
good
a
support
blessing.
system. Um and it's hard because like I've gone into I'm in a season right now where I'm experiencing learning myself. That's what the word I'm gonna use. I'm learning myself at this moment. And I am taking on a bunch of different things right now at this moment. So I'm
Mhm.
trying to learn how to balance this lifestyle. Like I'm trying to balance being a mom. I have a 9 to 5, so I'm balancing that. Started this podcast.
Mhm.
I'm trying to balance that. I'm also trying to balance my social life. You know,
Yeah.
um, balance just being one person, having to do all these things that I wasn't used to in my past life. Like
Yeah.
I was just a wife and a mom and I worked. that was what
What you
that's all I
did,
did.
and you didn't do anything
And
for
I
yourself.
didn't do anything for myself. Like, I wasn't a priority. And now that I'm in my new life right now, I've been making myself a priority, and I'm, also my fitness. Like, I have
Yeah.
to have that's a priority. That's my number one thing. Well,
Mhm.
God first, then my
Always.
fitness. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And it's just like balancing all those. Sometimes it can be a lot, but you can do it. Like, when my support system, they make it where I can do these type of things.
Right.
So, just, yeah, balancing it all.
That's really good. So, how did your faith show up for you during this journey?
Baby, that's all I had. Okay. I think that's all I was clinging to my faith. It showed up like, okay, so when I first, um, this where God kind of found, I don't want to say kind of, God found me. Okay, let me tell you this. I've always known God. My mama raised me, up
Yeah.
to know God. There's a difference though between knowing God and actually having a relationship with God, right?
Yep. Say that
So
again. Yes.
in this process, this is where God like kind of scooped me up. And it was like for me to cling on him during this time, because at first it was just like my mind went blank. It was like, I don't know what I'm about to do. You know what I'm saying? All
Yeah.
these things were running through my mind. And like one day I was at home, this voice came on my TV. And it was just like pretty much he was talking about being anchoring in God or whatever. And I felt like at that time that was God, like pretty much like trying to put a bug in my ear, like, during this time, lean on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, seek seek me. You know what I'm saying? And you're
Mhm.
gonna find everything that you need in this time of your life. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So I kind of started like just doing online. At the time, I didn't have a church home. I used to go to church, and then something happened with that. But I started watching church online, and then I started, reading the Bible. Started watching little podcasts, revolving around God and stuff. And it was like it gave me hope. Like, it gave me hope.
Yeah.
So I found the church home. Shout out to Trinity and Taylor. That's my church home. I started going there, and it was like instantly my first day there. It was like I, fell in love. Like,
That's
it was
good.
just like, this is it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So during this whole process, God like really was showing me um where it was like he started to make me take accountability.
Right. That's good.
So it was like him showing me, okay, stop worrying about what this man is doing.
Right.
Because there was a lot of things like that my ex-husband like felt like I don't want to like that were hurtful during that time.
Mhm.
It was almost like throwing this, I don't know if he was doing it purposely, because I don't wanna say he was doing it purposely, but it was just almost like just throwing the situation in somebody's face. And it was just like, I felt like at that time, I was just feeling like, dang, like, it's like I gotta keep taking it and taking it and taking it, you know?
Yeah.
So at this time, like, God just started to show me me, like, I started to be able to talk accountability and where things went wrong. Not saying that I'm the reason why he cheated, but if I would have had a relationship with God before I even entered this thing, I
Right.
would have never been in this situation in the first
Mm.
place, because I never was supposed to be married to this man.
Person. Yeah. Right.
God wasn't in that. I never included God in that. I never asked for his permission. I didn't even ask him like, is this the person who I didn't even have a
Yeah.
relationship with God at the
See,
time.
and that's what I was gonna ask you too. Like, did you have? I guess you're answering for me now. So you really didn't have like a relationship with God before
No,
y'all were married
no,
at
I
all?
I did. I don't want to say I had a relation. I knew who he was
Right.
at the time. Let me tell you something. You know what's funny
What?
is before me and him got married, I was building a relationship with God. And me being honest, that's how we ended up getting married, is because we were living together. We had got our first apartment, and we was living together. We was going to school and stuff. And at that time, I'm like, it was like heavy on my heart, us living together and we weren't married.
Right.
It was like a conviction at the time because now I know what the convictions are. So I didn't know at that time that was just a conviction from God.
Mhm.
But we was living with each other and it was like, dang, I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, living with this, I don't want to be living here
Yeah.
and we're not married. You know what I'm saying? So I ended up going to him like, listen, I'm like, well, are we, I ended up bringing up the marriage topic or whatever, and of course, he kind of like, I mean, he heard me, but it was
Yeah.
like we didn't really talk about it. And then one day, I think I was like, well, pretty much it's like if we not gonna get married, then I'm gonna just go back home,
Mhm.
And then it was like the next day, it was probably like the next day. It was like kind of like the next day, or the next couple days. He came to me and was like, "You want to get married?" And we went and got married. And shut up. But no, we went and got married, and then it was like, yeah. So I did know who God was, but
Right.
I didn't have no real relationship like how I'm building now. You get what I'm saying? So,
Exactly.
um,
And I wanted to backtrack too real quick.
mhm.
How long, because you guys got married at a young age. So how old were you guys when you got married? And then how long were you guys married for?
I was 22, and he was 24 because he's 2 years older than me, and we were married for 10 years, and we was
Oh
together for
wow.
15 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
So that's a long time.
yeah,
So I could see with the detachment and all that.
yeah.
22, that's such a young age. We
Mhm.
really don't
To
even
get
know who
married.
we are
Yeah,
at
at that age,
at that
yeah.
age at all.
Yeah.
So,
And I definitely like
wow.
I really, really it's like at the age of 32, that's why like I try to tell young women that I meet now when I hear it, like when I listen to them, like, bro, um, a dude, like there are wonderful men like out here, wonderful, godly, uh, how can I say it, y'all?
God.
God fearing men out here. There's some great guys out here, but make sure you build a relationship with God first, or you got your relationship with God first before you even start worrying about a relationship. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because a relationship is not everything,
It's not.
and that's how we end up where we ain't supposed to be or marrying who
Mhm.
we not supposed to be is because, we think life is about having a partner or just the goal is to
Be
marriage.
married,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, when you're dating somebody and you find the right wrong, that the goal is marriage,
Yeah.
but that's not what life is about. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? The
It's
life
romanticized a
is
lot.
not about finding somebody.
Yeah.
Life is not about finding somebody. And I feel like in today's world, today's culture, we've made it to where like you have to have a relationship to be happy, to be
Mhm.
successful, for thing. We lean on, let me tell you this.
Yeah.
We lean on somebody else for your happiness.
Yes.
That's what I'm
That's
trying to say.
yes, I knew you trying to go there. Yeah, I feel like that's literally everything you just said.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking for happiness in somebody else instead of finding it within yourself.
Yeah.
And then with social media and everything, a lot of people we're romanticizing these relationships and when that's
Yes.
like our goal. Like
Yeah.
my goal is to get married.
Yeah.
But what else besides that? Do you want a happy marriage? Do you have goals for yourself?
Exactly.
Who are you? So a lot of people, which I'm guilty of it too,
Mhm.
losing myself in relationships
Yeah.
and literally living for that person or that relationship.
Yeah.
And I just
When I was with my ex-husband, I'm gonna put it like this. As long as he was happy, I was happy. It was like my happiness fed off of if he was good. If we wasn't good, it was like I wasn't good. And
right.
that's all that mattered. And it was like that's oh Lord forgive me. That was draining. That
Mhm.
was very, very draining. And it was like, one thing like God has showed me or kind of like, made me see about my past is like that I worship my marriage. And it was like I cleaned on that as that's what I was clinging to, like for my dopamine. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah.
was like I was feeding off of that for happiness.
Right.
And that's not no. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You don't want to be in a marriage and it's not you want to be in a God blessed something that God ordained.
Yeah.
You don't want to be in anything that you put together yourself because I'm telling you, you know what I'm saying, that it's going to be like 10 times worse if God is not in it.
I believe that 100%.
So that's
We at
something
the
that I know
center.
now, you know.
Yeah. So jumping into that, rebuilding this relationship with God
Mhm.
and your support system, like you mentioned, your mom and his mom and stuff like that. I guess how did they help you? I need to rephrase this question. I'm trying to ask, what were the first steps, I guess, toward healing after the divorce? Was it leaning on that relationship with God
Mhm.
or
Acceptance.
acceptance?
It was a God as well. Um, it was having hope, like in faith. You know what I'm saying? But it was the acceptance stage for anything. Acceptance has to be the first in anything, even
Mm-hmm.
outside of a marriage. You have to, when you can accept something, you can start to move forward because
Yep.
you're never going to move forward if you don't accept the situation for what it is. That was out of my control. He didn't want to be with me anymore. He didn't want the marriage anymore. I can't control that.
Yeah.
And when it first happened, I tried to control, you know what I'm saying? It was like
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to control the situation, but it was like the situation was out of my hands. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like even to the point, like I said, I still wanted it. So it was like I'm trying to prove to a man, like, pick me. It was almost like, like
Yeah.
I'm worth keeping, I'm worth
And you
staying.
have
Like
to
it
prove your
was
worth to
like,
somebody that should already see
yeah.
it. Yeah.
And it was like now that I see, now that I'm here now, it was just like sometimes I'd be like, bro, what was you?
It's cringy when you look back.
Yeah, it was like
It's
I
cringy.
would cringe at myself during that time. It was like I was in survival mode.
Yeah.
And I'm in survival mode fighting for a marriage that a man don't want. He's clearly stated, I don't want to be here anymore. And I'm
Mhm.
steady trying to do things to prove my worth to somebody. And no. You know what I'm saying? In the Bible it say, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the word for word, but if a person wants to leave, walk away, that's actually grounds for divorce. You
Right.
can't make nobody stay. If they wanna leave and don't want to be with you no more, God, it states in the Bible, you let them. You
Exactly.
let them. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And at that time, you know, it's just like I just think like, oh,
I
girl. Like,
it's like
if my
that.
new self could talk to my old self, I'd be like, girl, get up.
Right.
Get up. Like,
Yes.
get on your what's
What are
that?
you
What that
doing?
say? What that girl say? What she say, Ebony, in that video? Oh my God, that video that went viral when she was like,
Get
"Girl,
up.
stand up, get up,
Get up.
get." Like, girl, like if I could talk to my, if I was able to talk to my old self, like, girl, get up.
Get
Like,
up.
God
Yeah.
got you. You know what I'm saying? There is life after divorce. This not it. You know what I'm saying? Clearly
Mhm.
at that time, I just was like, well, this is it. And clearly not God had the plan. So,
Exactly. Do you feel like, after all of that, has your I guess definition of love for yourself, has that changed, or like your understanding of love, loving yourself, has that changed since the divorce?
oh yeah, so much. Like, loving yourself first is literally loving yourself first.
Mm,
Anything that you're expecting another person to give you, you need to be giving it to yourself first before
mhm.
you're expecting somebody else to give it to you. Because how do you expect somebody to give you something that you're not even giving yourself?
Exactly.
You don't even treat yourself the way you want to be treated, and you
Mhm.
expect somebody else to treat you how you want to be treated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we set up other people to fail. And what
Mhm.
is the word I'm trying to say? We put our hope in somebody else because we're expecting them to give us something that we're not giving ourselves.
Exactly. And that's it ties to like going back to like the happiness thing. Like you have to pour into yourself, you have to create your own happiness. You can't depend on
Yeah.
somebody else to do it.
Because
So
there's a season, but I feel like that we all should have, well, me now in this season of my life, I've created a no dating space for me at the moment.
mhm.
And I feel like everyone should do that. Is you should have a season of your life, literally, regardless if somebody's trying to get your number, trying to talk to you. just explain to them, right now I'm not dating. No. Like, you know what
Mhm.
I'm saying? Without
No,
giving you like
that's
when I
no,
say you
that's
should have a season of why, because you first of all, it helps you think clear. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
You could see all the areas where you need pour into yourself, where you need to change. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
And um if you rely on somebody else for your happiness all the time, you're never gonna be happy by yourself because you always
Exactly.
gonna think you need a person to make
Mhm. That's
you,
that
you know what I'm saying, you're
codependency.
happy. Yeah,
Yeah, you
codependent. And that's
yeah.
something that I am a codependent recovery, if that's I don't know
You're
if I'm using the right
recovering
term.
codependent,
Yeah,
yeah.
like I'm learning to not be codependent on other people. And that's not even just a relationship.
That's
That's in
that could be with anybody,
friendships,
yup.
that's in family. Like
Yeah.
I'm learning to not be codependent because that's something that God has shown me. That's what I was trying to say earlier and I lost the thought
Mhm.
was I was too codependent on my ex-husband.
Right.
Very codependent, you know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
honestly, there were things that I was expecting him to give me that he really couldn't give me. Like he didn't have it in him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you make yourself you fail. Like it's like you set your partner to fail. You setting them to fail, and then now you're disappointed because you're expecting them to give you something that they never could have gave you in the first place.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
so
that's
now
why
you
it's
getting your
so
hopes up.
important.
Yeah, and it's a whole repeating cycle. It's
Yeah.
just gonna keep repeating.
Disappointment,
Yeah.
disappointment,
Yeah.
disappointment when I shouldn't have been married to this person anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like no shade, no nothing. We just wasn't for each other. We both had a
Exactly.
lot of work that needed to be done before we entered a marriage.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? And I know now too, like there were things that I could have done better that I contributed to during that marriage that I could say, you know what I'm saying, yeah, I'll take that. I could have done that better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like there was so many things I could have done better,
Yeah, so you're
you know.
definitely self-aware now, and
Oh
not
yeah.
yeah,
I'm very, very self-aware. Even
that's
like with
good.
co-parenting, like, there's things like I had to catch myself, like
Mhm.
I'm very self-aware. And that's one thing, like I'm so happy that I'm very self-aware. Like God showed me myself a lot through other people. Even with the pride, even with the, like I'm expecting something out of somebody, but you not doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like with certain things, he shows me myself a lot,
right.
and it's just him correcting me. Sometimes I be like in my feelings, but what I'm saying, you want to be corrected by God. You want conviction. Like you
Yeah.
want that conviction. And he convicts me so much, girl. I just be
No,
like,
that's
man. So yeah.
yeah. So how would you describe your life now compared to, like, I guess before the divorce and everything? Do you feel like you're at a happier space now than when you were married to your ex? You do?
Yes, very much.
Talk about it.
Like I don't never want to go back to that space ever. Like that space was not even a happy space and a happy space for me. And oh, excuse me, because I'm getting emotional again. That version of me, like, it was like a fighting for my life, literally. And I was in that space. And this don't and honestly, what I'm talking about don't have nothing to do with him.
Mhm.
It was my own insecurities, my own like trauma that I've had even before we got married that now I know was trauma,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, that I
Yeah.
had before we got together. Um, that wasn't a happy space for me, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, I don't believe that he had the tools and he couldn't give me what I needed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I couldn't give him what he needed during that time either. So I feel like even if I was aware, it wouldn't have never worked out either. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't have
Yeah.
worked out
It worked out
anyways.
either way, yeah.
And the space that I'm in, and another thing, like I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I wasn't released from that.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and that's something God has made clear. Like I used to be so upset. Like when I first got a divorce, I was kind of like really upset at God. and it was just like, well, why, why me? Why my marriage couldn't work? My family, now my kids got a broken, grew up in a broken home. And it was just like, something like clear as day. I was in the gym and I was listening to a song and it kind of like made me real emotional.
Mhm.
And, I was like, dang God, like, why my marriage couldn't work out? And
For
he
sure.
was like, because I couldn't do what I needed to do if while you I couldn't do what I needed to do with you while you was in that relationship. And thank you. And that's something like that I know for a fact. Like
You about to make me cry.
he the work that he's, done did on me or helped me, like the things that he's done with me through this whole transition, I wouldn't have did that in that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to didn't like myself. I didn't like the mirror. You know, I was just like so unhappy on the inside. And um I think like God released me from that because I feel like it was so much he wanted to do with me, but
Mhm.
that was holding me up, holding me back.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it was just always as long as he was happy, I was happy, and it was just like I was so focused on trying to make somebody else happy, make sure they straight. It
Mhm.
was just like I wasn't a priority.
At all, yeah.
I didn't have time. I didn't have time, you know what I'm saying? And so that was needed. And I always say to people, the way things happen in the way like things had happened in my marriage and how I got a divorce, I felt like it needed to happen that way. For one, so I wouldn't go back.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And for two, I don't like telling people this, but like I would have never walked away. Like I said, when he first wanted the divorce, I
Mhm.
still wanted the marriage.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And because during, like I said, at that time, that was all I knew. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It was just like that was the first person I felt like loved me, the attention I got, from a man, you know what I'm saying? I got daddy issues. Well, I'm working through my daddy issues. I
Right.
love my daddy, no pun against my daddy, But like I've had issues with being hurt. Like I feel like I've been hurt by every man that has been close to me, even outside like just a relationship.
Yeah.
I've been hurt by men so much. It was just like, I clung to somebody liking me, somebody giving me attention. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So yeah,
Oh wow. That was real.
yeah.
That was real. And you would say now you're at a happier space, not that you're making time for like your hobbies and other ways that make you happy.
Oh yeah. Definitely. Like I want to say I have joy. Like
Ooh,
it ain't, I
I
don't
like
even
that.
want to say happiness. Like it's joy. It's joyful. It's just like I don't know. I can't explain it. It's just like a whole like weight was lifted off my shoulders. And it was just like I'm doing the things that I didn't even know like I liked or loved. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm learning who I am for the very first time. Like if you would have told me I would have been starting a podcast. Like me, I always say like I used to be saying like I'm shy. I don't like to, talk to people or whatever. And my cousin told me one day, like, bro, stop saying that. You're not shy. Like, stop
Yeah.
saying that. And I still struggle with that today, like saying that, but
Mhm.
even like with going to events and meeting new people and being around Ebony, like
Uh-uh.
it's just like if you would have told me this 3, 4 years ago that I would be where I'm doing this type of stuff, I'd be looking at you like crazy. Like, no, I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've always used to be the person that want to play the background,
Right.
like shy away. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's just like I'm learning new. Like I love to dance. I love um I like talking to people. Like I like hearing people's stories.
Yeah.
If I can help somebody in any way, put a seed in somebody's ear or even help you fix something, if I have the key to something that you need, I love, like, I want to help you. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because it's so many people that gatekeep.
Yes.
You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying?
gosh. Heavy on that, yeah.
And this podcast, like, I was supposed to do this. Like, God placed this on my heart a whole year ago. And it was just like I let fear of me sharing my story or me being vulnerable and with this in my life. But I had to be obedient, you know what I'm saying? Because I had came to like a creator event and he was like, he said something around like, you never know. Like, if you don't be obedient to God, you could be stopping somebody else's, but you are somebody else's blessing. You could be, you know what I'm saying? You never know. Your story can help somebody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? And
Yes.
you don't want to be the reason why this person ain't get what they needed. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah, no,
So
definitely.
I definitely like I have joy. Like, don't get me wrong. I still have my dad. Like, I still grief. I still have grief. Um, I'm discovering new things every day. I cry. I fight. I um I get angry. You know, but it's part of the healing process.
Right.
It's part of the healing process. But I have joy more than anything.
That is so
So
good.
yeah.
That's really good. What kind of advice would you give somebody that's going through like a similar journey? What would you tell them?
I will tell them the first thing I will say is seek God first. Like, that's 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 what helped me. Like, literally going to God and um open your Bible. And one thing I could say is just start to look acceptance. If it's
Right.
out of your control, if there's nothing you can do about it, because you cannot control anybody but yourself. Literally, let it go. Like, don't try to force nothing that ain't supposed to be there. Don't
Mhm.
try to make nobody stay with you. If a person say they want to leave, they don't want to
Let
be
them
with you
leave.
no more, let them walk away. You know what I'm saying? It's hurtful. Don't get me wrong. I know it's hurtful. It stings your it stings, it messes with your self esteem a little bit,
Mhm.
your self worth a little bit. But as long as you put God first and therapy. Second
Ooh,
thing I'm gonna
heavy
say
on
is
that.
therapy.
Yes.
Go
I
seek
love
therapy.
therapy.
The advice I'm gonna tell you don't do is please do not go seek somebody else to go get on another person. I do not
Don't do it.
recommend that.
Don't do it.
Okay, that is my don't do advice.
Don't do it.
That's my
Don't do
that's
it.
my don't do advice. Like, don't go. No, that's not the way to heal. Don't go get under somebody else to get over somebody else. You know, I know a lot of aunties. That's their advice, but no.
Wrong
Seek
advice.
God first, therapy and theology. And I just want you to know that um everything happens for a reason, man. Like, literally everything happens for a reason. I don't care what nobody say. Good, bad, everything happens for a reason. And I know, like, in that moment it may seem like all hell done broke loose or like
Mhm.
your life is just like torn to pieces, but take it day by day and just know that God got something better. You know, he has a different path. You know, I had to start changing my perspectives. That's
Right.
one thing that I have got blessed with is my mind, like changing my thinking and my mind and my perspectives to think like even outside of that. You know what I'm saying? Anything
Yeah.
something don't go my way, I start looking at it like, okay, maybe God did this because, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Have
Such
like a
and
reason
such. You get what I'm
behind it.
saying?
Yeah.
Changing your perspectives is everything. My marriage. I got a divorce. That don't mean I'm worthless, you know what I'm saying? That
Mhm.
don't mean that I'm not capable of love. That don't mean that God don't have nobody for me or I'm gonna be single forever.
Yeah.
That just means what he needed to do with me, like I said, who the person I was with at the time,
Mhm.
God couldn't do the transformation on me that marriage first of all, it wasn't healthy anyways.
Yeah.
I
Very
was in an
toxic.
unhealthy marriage. I wasn't in a marriage that was ordained by God. that was the will of God. That was outside his will. Anything that's outside his will is not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? When you
Yeah.
get off the path, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna work.
Yeah.
So that was just him realigning me to get me on the path that he created for me. You know what I'm saying? It had been so long. I'm 32. 32. I'm lying, y'all. I'm not 32.
Wait, how old are you?
32. I'm trying to make myself younger. I'm 34. Oh my God.
What's the one thing you wish more people would understand about divorce?
The timing.
Mm.
To I want them to understand that it takes the healing process, it takes time. Whether it's 1 year, 2 years, like it's gonna take a couple years. It's not gonna happen overnight. Um, there will be even later down the line, like I'm going into year 3, and there's things I still that come up,
Yeah.
and I still cry about. I get sad about having to deal with the person. It's harder when you have kids with a person and you have to actually communicate and
And talk to
co-parent.
them.
Like,
Yeah.
you have to still be around this person. It's easier to detach from someone, or like for things to go away when you don't have to actually keep commu-
Yeah.
uh
Talk to them and have that form
yeah,
of
have
communication.
communication with
Yeah.
them or whatever. But I want to say time, like give it time. Don't beat yourself up. Like, if something does come up, if you feel some type of way about something, it's normal. Grief is normal. You're gonna be grieving for a while. You know what I'm saying? And be patient with yourself. Please, please, please give yourself grace. Like, allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling in that moment, and learn how to process your emotions and learn to control your emotions. Oh my God.
Hmm.
Me learning to control my emotions has helped me so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm not saying like to be dismissive of your own emotions, but you have to learn how to control yourself, even especially with co-parenting. So that's give it time, grace, and and having and just learning your emotions and being able to control your emotions.
I like that. Time, grace, emotion
Yeah,
control. I like that.
pretty much. That's my advice, man.
Was there anything else that you wanted to share with the viewers?
Yeah, I do got a scripture, actually, an ending scripture that I want to share that has helped me through my journey. So it is Isaiah 43:19. And it says, "For I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in a dry wasteland." And I just feel like, to me, God is saying, like, you know, no matter what, when something's ending, it's always a new beginning. He will create a path for you, regardless of what it looked like, what it has looked like, what you're going through. Just know there's something new and greater on the other side of that. You know, divorce has shown me that I can get through anything.
Absolutely.
I can get through anything. I'm a warrior. I'm a child of God, and God loves me, and I'm not worthless. You know what I'm saying? He loves me.
Hmm.
He sees me, and he has something better for me, and he has created something better for me, and he's just given me the opportunity to go and get whatever it is that he has. So don't give up, don't quit, and don't look at it as life is over, because life is never over after divorce.
Yes. Thank you for
So
sharing that.
that's it.
That's real. That's raw. I love that.
So